Hello again. It's me. So, hope you're all having a good day. Especially today, but not gonna get into that. Uh, yeah, just wanted to come on, make another model, and thought, hey, you know, why not stream it? Because it's fun. I like doing it. Especially now that I have a proper setup for it. So, we are doing this thing. The Pegasus from the... I don't know if it's new, I've only discovered it recently, but the hit indie TTRPG Lancer. I don't know much about it. I've never actually played any games with it, but I got introduced by a friend recently, and I think the robots look neat, especially this one. So I decided to make it. I did do a little bit of a head start. Just I'm going for a general PS1 super low poly aesthetic to it, which is why there's all these visible triangles. But yeah, I'm trying to make just a simple model of this guy in that sort of PS1 style. And honestly, the one thing I can't seem to nail down right now, and I'm sure I'll figure it out as I go, is the proportions of the body. Because as far as I can tell, this is the only official piece of art for the Pegasus. And it's a little bit hard to tell, for me at least. I can tell the arms are super lanky, but it's a little harder to see how long the body is in compared to everything else. How thick is it actually? Is it... I mean, I kind of have a guesstimate right here of the width of it. Something like this, but should I make it a little longer? Should I make it bigger? I'm really not sure, but I'm going to try and feel that out before moving on to any of the other details. But, yeah, that's what I'm doing today. Making a big old fancy robot with a gun that doesn't technically exist. Because of reasons. I think I'll actually hide these hands for now. Also rename this too. There we go. Just hide the hands right now. These back hands, I mean. Because it's up. The way this is set up, I tried to have it to where I would just have the one skeleton and then it would have move it all over, and it's like, ugh, getting it's getting really confusing really fast. So I think I'll just go ahead and combine all these armatures here into one big thing. Just get that out of the way. Well, it'd probably be easier if I actually had them all visible. Actually, rotation scale, except for you. You stay where you are. Set origin to 3D cursor. Now everything's all lined up, somewhat. And just combine all these now. I can deal with bone arrangements and stuff later, honestly. So first things first, I notice what I'm kind of guessing from this image here is that it's mostly sort of round all over, bit of an oval shape. So you'll see up here there's this sort of exposed, almost ribcage looking thing up here. But then there's probably some kind of round belly underneath. So I might go ahead and I'll start with that. I'll replicate that real quick. Just take this, pull it down some like that. And just make it a little more rotund. Actually, what I might do Yeah, this could work. Gotta pull it in it. Gotta pull it in at some spots, but other than that, looks fine. Yeah. I think that'll do for just making the entire thing round, and then just kind of pull this back enough to where it's all somewhat lined up. Then I just take this upper portion, widen it some like so. And I do notice that this is getting a little bit too thin over here, so. Oh, it's also acting a little weird because the topology is a bit off. Cut some triangles in here, that way those areas pop out like that. So now, I take these. Actually, I think I'll leave that there. We have a little bit of a waste. Because the Pegasus, in terms of design, kind of is just... It almost reads to me like a Titan, except it's hunched down on all fours, and it looks around, and it's got four hands instead of, like, 2 feet and all that. But, yeah, I think this is what I'll go for. Should probably also change the texture as well, because this is my sort of default human texture. But for now, I'm just gonna paint all this over. Just get all the weird detail out of the way now. And yeah, actually wait. Just to make sure I didn't accidentally, like, override anything. Also, did they change? I think they changed what button redo is. I'm gonna look at that real quick. Preferences. No. Probably should have checked this sooner, actually, because I realized that repeat last, repeat history. Oh, shift Control Z is disabled for some reason for redo. That's weird. That's no big deal. Well, actually, no, it's a very big deal. What am I saying? But hopefully I can adjust that really quick. Because being able to redo things is very, very important. Yeah, let's do that. Let's see if that works. There we go. Now it's at least something. So I'm going to take this image, save it in the proper spot because I realized it wasn't doing that. My bad. There we go. Now paint this over and just get it ready for the texturing way down the line. But, yeah, back to the modeling aspect, and I gotta redo this now. Widen this. Widen that a smidge. And just make some cuts here. I mean, I could just leave them as is. Just have a little bit of a spot where the legs connect somewhat. I don't know. Again, I'm still trying to work out how the topology is going to actually go. Honestly, given the way this thing looks, I don't even think it really has much of a difference between the neck and everything else. It just kind of goes like a big tube. Yeah, actually, I'll try that. I'll try that right now. What about lengthwise? It's a big this way. Reel that in a smidge, and... Mm, yeah, that looks better, actually. Just gonna make these circular, make them round. I'll probably do the armor pieces on top later, but I've kind of more finalized the look of this thing. But for now, I am just getting the basics done. So from the looks of it, I'm noticing this now actually, the hips seem to be about as wide as the shoulders, so that's actually going to help out a lot. Because now I can take these legs set up here, which are just arms. It's more arms. Set them up like so. Move them back a bit. Get them set up like this, actually. This is good. They'll come to about here and then go out like so. You know, speaking of Lancer, I suppose, it does look kind of fun. I admittedly have... I'm not sure how I feel about TTRPGs. I've never really done much improv before. And even though I'm part of two campaigns, I'm still not entirely sure how I feel about the genre as a whole. So I don't know. Maybe I'll keep doing it. Maybe I won't. But Lance in particular seems neat because these, from the sound of it, this actually follows a sort of wargaming style of system for combat, which is kind of cool because it takes a lot of the guesswork out of. Well, I say guesswork, but it's more along the lines of I'm gonna say a thing, and then you just get a bad roll for because of reasons, and it kind of falls over. Like, yeah, there's modifiers and stuff, but still, that can only take you so far. Regardless, having... And I'm not saying Lancer isn't entirely dice-based either, like, most wargames are like that. Warhammer certainly is, but... I don't know. Just that extra structure of having things like cover, range, movement, and all that. It puts a nice little spin on it that I'm curious about. But that's for later, though. Also gonna hide the hands and just deal with one thing at a time. So how long? I'm not I wasn't quite able to nail down the exact length of the arms, but I find myself waffling between making them a little long. I'll try a little longer like this. See how I feel. Give them some nice reach because he has some very long and spindly legs. Well, I guess these front two are legs as well. Arms, legs. I don't know. He's got some spindly arms. So, kind of replicating that in the look would help quite a bit, I think. Also, I think as a bit of future proofing as well, because I do want to do the armor somewhat. Take this, make a little cut here, and there we go. That way I can extrude it later and make it look like the shoulder piece, somewhat. Probably the same for this back here, actually. Save myself the trouble. Also adjust these legs so that they're more straight. Also, forgive me if I'm not saying much. This whole setup thing is very much a work in progress still, so I will probably still be looking back and forth, adjusting things on the fly. You know, it's got stuff going on, clearly. But I'm enjoying it so far. I miss this in a way, just kind of showing off my work and just going off about whatever. But yeah, first I'm going to make sure that all these are at least proportioned to the way I like them. Actually, what I'll do is I will actually directly compare them. I might make the back legs a little longer than the arms? Maybe? Just take this, move it here. About there-ish. Then just pull that down. Take the whole thing, and then just move it all back. I think it is messing with me a little bit in that because it's all stretched out like this, it might not look right. But I think once I actually start getting the Pegasus to start standing properly, like all hunched over and four-legged and all that, it'll look better. Oh, can't forget my own observation earlier of having the hip width to be about the same as the shoulder width. Maybe a little less, maybe a little more. Either way. I'll go with a little less. Have to be about yay far. And also, yeah, I will add some triangles here, some cuts to get rid of that weird flat spot. Doesn't need to be there. And also, I'm also not going for a 256 Fez thing this time. There's no way. Maybe I could pull off a 124 like the well, no. I don't think this would be somewhere in the middle, honestly. Very much PS1, but not like super not like insanely low either. You do got some thick thighs though, so I will definitely beef those up. Thicken those out a bit. And now readjust them because they're all a little bit off aligned, misaligned. There we go. There you go. I think that looks a lot better. Just want to adjust the hips some. And then maybe take this whole thing, sans the neck here. And there we go. I think that looks a lot better. So now I will go back and use that same knowledge on the hands, which I think... make these a smidge bigger. Not too much, just enough. Yeah, like about there. And just set those there. Those will be the front hands. But yeah, no, I think if I ever actually do play Lancer at some point, I want to try, if not the Pegasus robot in particular, then maybe one of the other Horus-themed ones, because I have seen some weird ones. I think the most popular one is actually the Goblin. It's a little, for those that haven't seen it, it's a little blue it's a little tiny dude for a robot. He's very small. Like, I think he's only, I don't want to say 9 feet tall, but it's very short. And it's very squishy. But its specialization is hacking. So, it just does all the, like, there was a video by a guy named B-Side Wizard who did a whole bunch of really good videos with these, with excellent models to boot as well. He did a good job if he made them. But I think the Goblin one in particular just has him messing with some random grunt robot. He left up fake copies, made him drop all of his power cells. It was hilarious. And then I think another one I saw was actually Baylor, who's a big chunky boy with this flame-like wreath all around his neck, except it's not actually a flame, it is a Megamind-style swarm of nanomachines that will eat anything that gets close to him. It's hilarious. But, yeah. Color me interested in Lancer, but I don't really have anybody to play it with. I guess what I could do, silly as it sounds, I could just treat it like Warhammer, which is also something I haven't played, but that's a whole other thing. I could just treat it like Warhammer and just make up my own little combat modules and just try out the system itself. Maybe set up a Pegasus and a something on one team, a bunch of dudes on the other team, just have little armies fighting each other. No story, no nothing, just, you know, see how the combat is and have some fun with it. Granted, I don't really have any minis of it, and I don't really have any minis I could do with it, and I don't know. I don't really know how PS1 style models would translate into minis. Maybe I'll make one with this guy if it actually works out, but I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, I would not mind at least trying out the combat at some point. Excuse me. I think that would be pretty darn neat. Yeah, maybe... I was noticing the body is getting a little small compared to the arms and legs. I think about there is good. Nice balance. Also, maybe might have made the legs a little too long, so I'll pull those back some. About there's good. I also think the backhands could serve to be a little smaller. Kind of just pull them back. Maybe, like that. I think that's fine. They're still bigger than the front hands, but they're not oversized. There we go. But, yeah. It's funny, I actually initially thought about doing the Pegasus as my first model for the stream, but I decided against it because, one, it's kind of complicated, but also the Heroes Helpers animation had just come out, and I thought, ooh, that little guy looks really cool. I want to make a model of him. And so I did. Alright, next up, I'm just going to jump straight into the head, which should be easy because if you look, well, yeah, it's all round and bulbous and all that, but really it's, I'm just imagining it as cube, tapered edge, cube. And hopefully you'll see what I mean as I get started here. So take this, stick it at the end of the head. Take this cube out some. Actually pull it back some. I do like to have it eat the neck a little bit. Taper that a little bit. Extrude it out some. Taper it in even farther. And then just have it go straight out like that. Now I just take the whole thing and squinch. Like so. Just slowly dial in the size here. And maybe if I give it a little extra shape. I'm not hurting for polygon counts here. Just do that. Cut. Do that. Cut. Because it looks a little too square right now. I want to dial that back. Do, do, do. Do, do, do. Yeah, that looks... I think that looks better. Alt-J, just to make sure there aren't any extra lines there. Not that it matters per se, but I like to just check once in a while. See if there's not something I can do. Maybe a little bit of a bevel here? Yeah, there we go. Little bit of a bevel. Shade smooth, see how it looks, and... yeah. I think... yeah, no, that works. I might actually make the slope here a little more obvious up top. Kind of recreate that sort of a... recreate sort of an organic feel. Because as much as this is a giant robot, it very much has that sort of Evangelion fleshy, almost kind of a Titan from Attack on Titan style thing with the more humanoid limbs and the exposed rib cage and all that. It's neat. Any hoozles. Next part. Actually, on top of all that, I think this back end's a little bit too long, so I might pull this back some as well. To about there. There we go. Just reel that in some. Speaking of reeling in, I actually might do a little more. Yeah, I'm being very indecisive all of it. Just constantly tweaking and adjusting until it's just right. And even then, I might look back and think, ugh, why didn't I do more? But that's okay. I'll work on this more. I'll come back to it later if I feel like it needs adjusting. Next up, I think I'll do these, I think I'll do the chest armor next. Because from the looks of it, we've got these two sort of cubic things with these spikes coming out. The spikes are gonna be... I'm probably gonna make those all sprites. I'll just have one generic spike and then I just have them all strewn along the body, like here and here and here and so on. But yeah, I will experiment with that later. For now, gotta do the armor, which should be a lot easier because all I'm thinking of doing is just taking a cube, tilting it like so, kind of cutting it up like so, and then just adjusting it to kind of sort of match where everything's going. Go with normal here so it's not perfect. It's not perfectly out one way or the other, just kind of smooth. Rotate. Might have heard a doggy in the background, but that's okay. So, I think I'll have this part out enough to where it shows up around here-ish. And then just tilt it out like so. I think I'll push this out a little more. Actually, to help illustrate it further, generate mirror. So now it shows up on both sides. And I'll smooth it out too, so that way it's yeah. So ooh, okay. Okay, so I move it down like that, and then there we go. Honestly, not a bad start to the chest armor. I don't even think I need that much more, but we'll see. Anyways, shoulder armor, which I think will just be the start of the modification of the arm, which means I will take this, cut it out, make this bigger, make this bigger, bridge these so that they're still connected. Actually, I'll do this. Just get rid of the one arm. That way I can just mirror this, and anything that does happens to the one side happens to the other. Save myself half the trouble. Now I'll go back to global because it's just straight out, so I don't have to worry too much about alignment. Very simple shoulder pads. As for the... Ooh, that's looking a little too spindly for the elbows. Fix that. So with this, it's a little pedantic, but I think I'll straighten this out a little smidge around there-ish. There we go. I think I'll make some more. I'll make another adjustment to the chest armor. So this goes up and back, like so. And now I have more room to add these extra little plates here and here. And that I can just do with more cubes. So take this. Actually, I'll shear it slightly. Now it's got a little bit more of a unique shape going on here. Speaking of unique shapes, I'm also... I need to get that music player working again. I used to have VLC with a skin and just have that in the corner so I could actually show what songs I was playing while they were playing in case anybody wanted to find them later. And I don't have that, so it's just awkward silence when I'm not talking. It ain't fun. But that's okay. One thing at a time. Gonna move this up some, so that way it kind of lines up with the shoulder plates. Mirror. I think one of the fun things I've noticed about Lancer is that, yeah, I'm going off of the official art for the Pegasus, but there isn't too much of a set look for each of the robots. I mean, there's a general basis, of course, but other than that, you can kind of do what you want with them, and I think that's pretty cool. Just that freedom of, oh, sure, I might have a Pegasus, but it looks like this. It's got this extra little attachment. It's got, or like here's a robot with cat ears or something. It's neat, honestly. That being said, if I think a design is nice enough on its own from like a picture, I'll just probably just base it more off of that. You know, I don't want to mess with perfection as it's as I like to think about it sometimes. That being said, I probably am taking a few liberties with this design regardless, just to accommodate the low poly style. So, what do I know? All right, so that's the shoulder and chest armor. Next up is the hip armor, which honestly, excuse me. I think for the hip armor, I say hip armor, but what I mean more is these parts over here, because I want to save room in the back for this generator for the Omni gun that the Pegasus has. Because I think this thing is cool as hell. Just a gun that doesn't exist, but it still works like a gun, and you cannot dodge it no matter what. I love the bit of flavor text it has too, where it says quite like at the last little bit, no rule in this book or any other shall supersede this weapon, or something like that. Basically saying, this gun is so powerful, no rulebook can touch it. So, you know, if you're DM and you let your character have this in any scenario, then Yeah. So what? Not really much you could do. It just works. That being said, I'm not going to reuse the shoulder armor like I thought. I will actually create a new part, but it's going to be like maybe a cube here, but with some little flaps off to the side here and here. So cube. Just going to make it next to the thing so I have a reference. Make this area thinner, taper it some, and then this goes out and up. This goes out and up. Actually, what I could do, just to add a little extra detail, you know, sometimes I look at my own models, and models other people have made too, that take inspiration from the PS1 style and wonder if they would actually work on PS1 hardware. And I don't think I can't really say much on that until this thing is done, so eh. But I would imagine as this goes on that maybe it would work, but it'd be like, well, I mean, Armor Core 1 is a bunch of somewhat detailed models for the time for its robots and all the arm parts and stuff, so hey, maybe this could work too. But I am not an expert. I have never touched a PS1, and I don't know much about the hardware, so that is a question that may never get answered, at least not by me. But that's okay. I enjoy the art style, and that's really all that matters. So now I take this, and we have ourselves a sort of basic hip piece, although I think pull these back some. Actually, what I could do, take these vertices, extrude them backwards, delete the inside faces because we're not going to see them. A little bit of normal recalculation to make sure they show up properly, and now I just take them, move them out like so, and then I just realign them. Maybe I will fill in the inside because you do see some of it popping out. Or I could just adjust it. Either way. Make it a little chubbier down there. Omni guts. But, yeah. Having fun so far. Never really thought I'd be streaming again. I've thought about it. I've said, oh, I want to stream, I want to stream, I want to stream, but I've never actually... I want to get back to streaming. I haven't actually done it too much. So, yeah, I just never went and did it, but here I am. I'm doing it now, so... Yee. Yay me. Get some water. Yeah. Thirsty. But, yeah. Back to this. It's kind of funny. My friend Ricky recently did, or is doing, a series of streams based for Mega Man Legends after a repack came out for it. And I decided to take a look at the model for research purposes, and yeah, it is mostly just sort of what I'm doing now, just taking a bunch of shapes, mashing them together like so. Even the legs are entirely segmented, they're not connected in any way, like I have with the arms, they're just bits and pieces floating, and held together close enough to look like they're connected. And I think that's really cool. So now... You should check out Ricky, by the way. I think I have her listed on my channel page as someone I recommend. And I don't really know how to shout people out. So I guess, you know, go check her out. And if you like music and streaming and games and stuff, I don't know. I don't know why I said streaming. Streaming's a very common one. Yeah. But yeah. So trying to get this to line up nicely. Hmm. No, I'm not really like. You know what? I'm not really liking how that's turning out. I'll try again. I think I got a bit too complicated with it. Just give it another go. And this time it'll just be a plane this time. I'll start it as a plane and then extrude it out once I have the final shape done. So first things first, give it a sort of thin upper area and lower area like so. Move in the corners. And cut upwards like so. Yeah, I'm already feeling a little better about this shape now. Actually, I don't need those vertices there. There we go. That looks a lot better. Now I just take that shape and just line it up properly. From the looks of it, I think Goes up here. Now I make little triangles here, make the slightly curvy parts a little more curvy. And now adjust this, not clipping everywhere. Smooth this out too so you don't see any of the things. But yeah, that looks better. I think, kind of looking at it again, it seems like this piece is meant to come up over the sort of upper half of the body and just cup around the little containment field over here. So that's how I'm going to kind of interpret this and just go from there. Set origin, 3D cursor, all transforms, and mirror. Only thing left to do now is to give it some substance. About there's good. There we go. Just kind of finalize the topology a little bit. Yeah. So, what's next? I think I'll actually do the containment field next, because I'm seeing... I might do a ring? Or no, I'll do like a cylinder for the base of it, and then I'll just have little arms coming up. Should be simple enough. Let's do 8. Yeah, 8. That's about right. That's about as circular as you can get with low poly. I also think I'll adjust the proportions a smidge here to accommodate it better. Raise up the rear a bit. And just... there we go. Give it a nice base to go off of. Just get that to sink into the body. Get rid of the faces. They don't need them. They don't need to be there. How high up do those things reach? Actually, I can move these up a bit higher and have them not clip into the body as much. And they'll still work. Edge, mark sharp. There we go. Because it seems like there's a little bit of an extra texture within where it's just all dark. So just prepare for that in advance. Same with this base here. Mark the edges as sharp. Now I can sort of go in and draw a hard texture with like a thing in the middle. So now the arm. Actually, you know, before I do the arms, I'm going to add the orb, which I think I'm gonna compare really quick because I think this will be funny. I could have it be an icosphere, which I don't normally work with, or I could just take a cube and subdivide it. Got 80, 48. I'll go with the. I'll keep it the aesthetic. Low poly, one sub cube. Take that, move it over there, and just make it. Actually, that might be perfectly sized as it is. So just do that. Make it rounder. The body is round. And there we go. There is the... Make it a little larger, actually. But yeah, that's our scary Omnigun. That is the ball. Now I just gotta build little arms coming up from around it. About 4 from the looks of it. And there we go. That should be the main bulk of the back armor. Big stretch. But yeah, hope everybody's watching at home is having a good time. Just I don't know, that's just the kind of gist I want to go for, I suppose. Just be chill, make stuff, and help people relax. That's all I want to do. Alright, I'm going to take a small break, and then I will return. Yee. I'm back. Anywho's. Rabbit. Yeah, I think my next plan... The next thing I'm going to do is make the little holders here, 4 of them. So I'm going to actually start by putting the cursor here. Now I can just make the cube, shrink it like so, and then just move it immediately. Actually, I could actually get away with just making this a triangle. Yeah, I think I'll do that. I mean, I'm not a stickler for polygon, like I said, in this time, but I still want to try and save triangles where I can. So yeah, this could work actually. So from the looks of it, there are 4 of these. Actually, wait, there might be more than 4, but this one just looks broken. Uh, hmm. Actually, I have an idea. Can make a whole new base. Keep the old one just in case, just to compare. But instead of 8, I want to try 5. 5 triangles, just to see how it looks. Hmm. Actually, that could work. I'll just fill it in a bit here. Yeah, there. Binkies. Work. Hmm. Actually, I think... I think I'll do 6 only faces. Circle. Yeah. Still round, but not as many points as the ball. Honestly, I think the ball being higher poly helps kind of add into the sort of paracausal eldritch nature of the thing. Like everything else is kind of low poly-ish, but there's this one super smooth thing. I don't know. Not perfect, but that's kind of how I see it, but we'll see. Mark sharp. Same as before. I'll also rotate this slightly. There we go. Now these arms will line up better, because I think I'm actually going to have 5 of them as opposed to 4. Nope, not that. Go here. Move this here. I'll also shift this back slightly. And now I can just duplicate this however many times. Actually, no, I'll wait till the whole thing's built. Because there's still one more piece I need to add, and that's the little cup thing here. And I think what I'll do, to kind of keep it in line with the shape of the thing, extrude that piece, separate it, and then just make a little doodad with it. Take this, move it down. Shrink it to size. And fix up the vertices like that, and there we go. That should do it. Now just take these, duplicate them however many times. Hmm. No, yeah, I think I'll actually do 5. That way the little doodads line up with it. At least to a certain degree. Also, this is definitely not going to be a 1024 thing because it's already over the limit. Oh well, no biggie. One there. One there. Maybe a bit? I don't know. I don't know how much for this is too much. Trying to think. That being said, um, hmm. My brain's working here, trying to figure out if 5 is too much for this. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. You know, yeah. Let's do 5. There we go. That looks better. And delete the faces. Not edges, faces. And there we go. I think that looks pretty neat. Honestly, might even have some extra floating bits around. Edit this. And I just make a couple of those little tchotchkes and just have them around. Just gonna have these of varying widths and lengths. Go back to global so I can move these up and down right where I want them. Okay. It's finally starting to come together. Somewhat. I think I'll just have the I'll just have a little tiny gun sticking out the front. Do. Just still working on this. Yeah, I figured I would come back and adjust the head somewhat. There we go. New increment so I don't lose progress if something happens. So yeah, I'm getting pretty close to finishing up the main modeling, the main shape of the thing. All I really need to do now is the arms, the rest of the armor on the arms and legs, and I could probably get a little bit start a little bit on the texturing after that, which would be pretty cool. And is the next major step of this thing. But first things first. Go ahead and put a sharp edge here to sort of mark off the armor bits. Ooh, actually what I could do. To replicate the sort of skinny arm effect. Just go here. Global. And just line that up, and there we go. We have the spindly sort of forearms that they have. Actually, come to think of it once again, It feels too short now in the forearm. I need to extend that out some. Yeah, that looks better now. Now that I have the actual full thing ready to go. There we go. Perfectly aligned now. That should about do it. And just make the whole thing thicker a little bit. Because why not? There we go. That looks better for the arms. Nice and spindly both ways. And it actually has the armor. I'll adjust the hands real quick, and then I'll move on to the legs, which should be the last part of the modeling process for this dude. Honestly, I'm kind of thinking that even if I don't necessarily have physical minis of this, if I ever want to play Lancer, I could just fire up a... What's that one program called? Tail something? I forget. I don't know. It's a tabletop simulator for specifically for like D&D and whatnot. I could just fire up that, set up a hex grid, probably maybe after I've made a few of these, I could set them up as minis or however that process goes, and then just try out the Lancer gameplay that way. Could be fun. It'd be like my own little personal Warhammer, but it's Lancer and it doesn't have minis that are a bajillion frickin' dollars. Because fuck me, those are expensive. But hey, I'll figure out something. Make the armor here. And once again... Actually, with the back leg armor, I have a bit more... I think I actually have a bit more leg room, funnily enough. Because it doesn't really get super thin near the end like the armor does. So I can just do that, and I'll be fine. I'll be good. That being said, I am once again running the same issue of this thigh is a bit too short. So I'll extend it out here. And that should do it for the leg. Same for the backhand here, the foot hand, whatever you call it. And yeah. Just gotta go in here. Reset vertices. Because, you know, it probably got messed up a little along the way. That's fine. It can be fixed. Actually, I will say the armor's looking a little thin in the armor. The armor's looking a little thin in the elbow area. Actually, I don't need these either. Save some vertices around here and just close that up. Normals, reset vectors. There we go. Take a drink of water. Ah, I needed that. So, back to... Oh, that's funny. Actually, if I were to stop right here, I could get within the... Well, no. No, I'm 100 triangles over. There's no way. Never mind. No big deal. There we go. Little bit less tapering. That's okay. Actually, a little more, actually. What am I saying? Okay. So... Oh. Need to wrap this around the back, too. Get that sharp edge in all over. Really separate the armor pieces from the fleshier bits, I guess. Same for the leg, too. Need to make sure that's done. So now... I think what I'll do... Actually, you know what? I could try and add in one more detail. I am going to add the spine. Just a big, long block along the back, kind of somewhat connecting everything. Have it about yay high, separate it. Turn that off so I can actually move it over, and then snap to symmetry. There we go. Symmetrize these again. Make sure they're lined up. Never mind. I'll make it easier myself. Take all this. Extrude downward like so. Merge by distance, get rid of the extra vertices there. I don't know why those are there, but that's fine. And just push all this back and up. Actually, no, this is fine. Just take this, taper it like so. And then just go in and clean it up. Take all these vertices that aren't going to be seen, delete them. So now we have kind of a hollow shell, but it'll look fine. Also, for these, just there we go. The spine. Give that area a little more depth. And actually, I could have it just stop here. Gotta pull it back some, like there. There we go. And there we have the spine. I should actually go through and name all these. Yeah, the spine. That will help to give the back some more depth, and I can have a little bit of extra texture there too. Back armor. Shoulder armor. Hip armor. The Omnigun. Actually, what I'll do is I'll delete all these extra holders. And then, when I get around to texturing, I will just take the one holder that's already textured and just duplicate it a few times. Easy peasy. And I will call this F debris, because it seems like it's just a piece of floating debris, but we'll see. Alright, I think the only thing left to really model is the neck armor back here. Like, all the other stuff, like spikes and whatnot, I can deal with later. But the last main thing to model really is just the neck armor. So I'll just get straight to that. Take this. duplicate it, move it in some, separate it. And what I can do actually is save myself some vertices, bridge these, make it into a triangle. Then take the top portion, stretch it out some, squish it a bit. Have a little bit of overlap, but not that much. You know, no. I will actually no, I will keep it there, but I'll taper this top end here. A little higher up here, a little higher up here, and hmm. Now I just gotta do 3 of these. Like, one right behind the other. And resize them so that they're all fitted properly. Okay, so it works in concept, but I want to redo this really quick because I need to make sure that this neck is properly segmented. Dissolve edges. There we go. Now there'll be one piece of neck armor for each segment of the neck. There we go. Hmm. I'm noticing a bit of effect here where they're kind of overlapping each other somewhat, so what I might do is tilt these up and then back. Like so. That way I can sort of recreate that effect. Sort of. Being the key word here. Actually, you know what? I might do the same thing with this that I did with the other one. Just texture the one and then just have it repeat. Plus, gives me more time to try and actually get this to fit better because it looks a little off. At least I think it looks a little off. There we go. Triangulated. Which means now I can go in and stretch these out somewhat. I think part of my problem with them for the moment is that they don't quite look sort of round-ish around. Like they don't look like they can form around the neck. So instead, I can just have these go down. And actually, I might have these go up slightly as well. And I can probably pull this down somewhat. There we go. I think that looks about right. Round this out a bit, get it to match the picture, and make it smooth, and there we go. We have the neck armor. You know, one more thing. Maybe a roundness. But, yeah. There we go. Oh. Oh, shit, I didn't even know. Oh, yeah, yeah. Hey, hon, didn't see you there. First off, report that for bots. Because, yeah. There we go. Block that. Also, delete if I can. I hope I can delete it. Yeah, I have no clue how to mod anybody. I'm still... Oh, no, there it is. There's a button. There we go. There you go, Sharp. You have been modded. Yay. And... ban. There we go. There goes the bot. But, yeah, I think I've done about everything I wanted so far. Just tuck that in some. And yeah. Here is where we are at so far. Got the body done, got the head done, got most of the armor done. Really good progress, honestly. I think when I pick this up again, all I have to do is sort of lay out the texture work and lay out all the spikes and just do some finishing touches. But yeah, I think I'll call it here. I'm starting to get a little tired of modeling. I want a break. But yeah, thank you, Han, for tuning in. I forget how long ago it was. I didn't see it. I got kind of stuck doing this, but yeah. Hope you all have a good day, and I will catch you all later. Bye.